Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. I always get a little lump in my throat when I get to that part. And thinking about this week, I couldn't help but think about a story I heard on NPR this weekend. You might have heard it. It was about a statue that's been installed at St. Albans Episcopal Church in Davidson, North Carolina. This statue has been called Homeless Jesus. The church where this statue is in a very well-to-do part of town in Davidson. The statue is by a Canadian sculptor named Timothy Smalls. It's about life-size and consists of a figure laying on a park bench. The figure is wrapped in a blanket. You can't see his face or his hands, and it's caused some controversy. It's not the first time that this statue has caused controversy. The artist tried to install it in a couple of other prominent locations, like St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. Usually the rectors would think it was a great idea, but as it went through the various furnishing committees, decorating committees, they would all balk a little bit at the statue. And here's the reason why. It's this figure laying out on the park bench. Like I said, you can't see his face, you can't see his hands, but you can see his feet. And on his feet are the marks of the crucifixion. So it is undeniable that this figure on this park bench wrapped in this blanket is meant to be an image of Jesus. So the attempts to place it in some bigger prominent areas were not successful. There's multiple editions of this. This is the second one that I think has been installed. And it's been installed in Davidson. But an interesting story has come about once it was installed. It was put there in February of this year. Folks driving by this well-to-do neighborhood would see this statue from their car and think it was a homeless person and would call the police. So they called the cops on Jesus. And they were very upset. It disturbed them that they would have this image of a homeless person that was supposed to be Jesus in their neighborhood. And one of the folks that called the police was willing to be interviewed. And this was what she said. She said she disagreed with the rector at St. Albans, who thought that this was an important image of Jesus. And she said, Jesus is not a vagrant. Jesus is not a helpless person who needs our help. We need someone who is capable of meeting our needs, not someone who is also needy. I submit to you that everything we will do here tonight stands in contradiction of that statement. Cindy, while she envisions Jesus as being a very powerful person, misses out on one of the most important parts of the story that we are remembering starting tonight, and that was Jesus was a very human person. We memorialize this night, his last night with his friends on Maundy Thursday, by celebrating the Eucharist and washing feet, always mindful of what comes next. The agony in the garden, the wanting his friends to stay awake, but then finding them asleep time after time. Arrest, betrayal, denial, and abandonment. These are human conditions that Jesus experienced, and these are the experiences that he would take with him to the cross on Good Friday, to the grave on Holy Saturday, and that he would redeem through his resurrection on Easter morning. See, Jesus wasn't Superman. He was a man that was also God. And for Cindy to say that she needs Jesus to be someone that is not also needy, I think she misses out on a very beautiful part of the Christian tradition. Our brothers and sisters in the Roman Catholic Church have gotten a lot of news with their new Pope. Everybody watches to see where Pope Francis is going to be on Maundy, Thursday. Last year he was in a juvenile detention facility and he washed the feet of young people that were being held at that facility, including women and some folks that were Muslims. I believe today he was at a facility for physically and mentally disabled persons, and he washed their feet. And the reason why this makes so much press is that usually the Pope on Maundy, Thursday is in one of the big chapels in Rome and lines up a bunch of priests or cardinals, 12 or 11 usually, and they are normally up on a dais, and the Pope can just move along and wash their feet, really without having to bend over so much. But Pope Francis does not do this. He has gone out into the world and gets down on his knees and washes feet. And we have such a response to this because here's this powerful man in the church doing this. And it's a great symbol. But in a way, I think what we do here is almost more important, because it's not about the priest or the deacon washing feet. It's not about the person of power bending down, washing feet. It's that we wash each other's feet. Tonight is the night that makes us a community, because we celebrate that we come together around a table with very simple things as bread and wine. And we also celebrate that we come together and bring all of our wants, all of our good stuff, all of our bad stuff together here, and we take care of each other by washing each other's feet. Jesus is certainly capable of meeting our needs. The resurrected Jesus offers us new life. The sacramental Jesus that's found in bread and wine at Eucharist fills a hunger in us. But that's not the only place that Jesus shows up. We talk about seeking and serving Christ in each person. So that means Jesus is a vagrant. That means Jesus is in the homeless person, in the person that is in prison, the person suffering from addiction, the poor, the brokenhearted, the abused, folks with mental illnesses, folks that work 8 to 5 every day to make ends meet. The list goes on and on and on. Christ is part of us. And we are called to seek and serve Christ. And it's that Christ that is here now that certainly has needs. And it is that Christ that we are called to serve in the world. We are a church bound together by very ordinary things, not by walls or fancy decorations, but by bread and wine and water and hands. And I think that's why Maundy, Thursday is so very powerful, because we stop and celebrate all those very ordinary things that when we come together become extraordinary. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and as I have said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I'm going you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Amen.